Family Seasons. Welcome to Short Points, where we are sharing thoughts on the Sabbath school lessons. We're starting a new quarter and a new topic.
And we're opening a new page of discussion this week. Last week we ended with a beautiful promise for a new heaven and a new earth. This week we start a new adventure through the different seasons of life we go through on this earth.
When I first read the title of the quarterly, my expectation was that it would be a study about family. But it seems that the nuance is a bit different, and it's more about life and what we go through.
And one way of exploring those cycles of life is through the framework of family. It was at the beginning in the Garden of Eden. It was also after when sin established a new order of things. It is also our present way of experiencing the events that surround us. Despite the challenges that we find that that are represented by some forces going against the family, we would like to uncover some principles who help us make for stronger families at every stage of life.
Right, but I want to accent a little bit more on what impressed me while reading the introduction. We experience life through family. Now, this is important. Yes, sometimes families struggle, sometimes they're not there at all. But maybe we experience life through the missing family. Or we create our own family from friends or our own notion of family. But this is how we were created. God created a man and a woman. He created a family from where life will be multiplied and grow. It's not surprising that the family as entity is being so viciously attacked and challenged. It's the basic cell of stability in society. You break that, you broke a big thing. It's an important conversation to have, but it's not easy to have it in the current context. Hopefully, these lessons will help us find some biblical guidance on the subject. Let's jump into the first lesson.
The rhythms of life. It seems like life has been going on forever, and even some people have the saying, there is nothing new under the sun. And although they have a good point here, life also happens to be one of the most typical representatives of change and unpredictability. However, life can be represented also by the multitude of seasons and rhythms. Life goes through different stages, but also through constant changes. This week, we're going to look at some of them.
As Solomon said, there is time for everything. And there are things that are appropriate for a certain time and others that are not, but are appropriate for another time. But we don't always like that because we have this mentality of, I want it now, and I want it like this. However, understanding some of these basic secrets of life can spare us pain and disappointment, and also help us to live a more fulfilling life.
The lesson starts with Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created order on a desolate and chaotic otherwise planet. We also observe that things are spinning in their own rhythms, and they have their regular cycles. Such an examples are the day and night, signs and seasons, and even more often, weeks and days. Is our personal life impacted by those orderly natural phenomena? Of course they are. They shape our working life, they shape our family life, and they even give us direction of how life works here on earth.
Our origins do matter. It does make a difference how we look at life when we believe in intelligent design. And yes, the point that the lesson makes is that God created our world with a cycle design. Even after the disruption of sin, we still have orbits, days, weeks, Sabbaths, and so many other rhythms that science can't even keep track of them.
What about human stages of life? Birth, growth and youth, maturity and adulthood, death. We all go through them, but we have our own individual seasons and rhythms somewhere there in between. Some of us grow tall, and some of us grow smart. Some of us love to explore, and some of us love the coziness of their living room. We observe one structure and one framework, but there is an endless number of architectural pieces in life. We carry the diversity of characteristics and different predispositions. which allows us to have only two approaches, either closed-mindedness or to embrace it all, because God's love created all.
It's amazing how under the same principles we can get so much diversity and uniqueness. And it's all meant to complement each other. We are individuals, but we are also designed to enrich others with our interactions. Life is very colorful and rhythmic. But then there is also our current reality and their disruptions.
And sometimes we're going through seasons and rhythms of the unexpected. I know this is a tough one because we usually associate it with a hardship. Why? Because naturally, we people go under stress regardless of what kind of change is happening in our life. And if you add to it the element of unexpectancy, it just makes it that harder. Imagine your daily vehicle engine gets overheated on the way to your vacation destination. Or you imagine your house gets flooded by the back kick of the public water sewage system. Or imagine a friend of yours gets cancer unexpectedly and controversially to the health lifestyle he or she's been having until this moment. However, if we flip the coin, we can see that there is a big flow of adrenaline if we just hear from our boss for a generous promotion in the office. Or if we hear that the numbers that the TV anchor announced matches the numbers on my lotto ticket. All of a sudden, the unexpected becomes a positive change of seasons and rhythms in our lives.
Things change. Even though there is rhythm, cycles, and regularity in life, there is also change. Sometimes we wish things to remain the same, sometimes we can't wait for a change, but this is a reality that we need to understand and to learn to live with. In my day-to-day life, when I don't study Sabbath school lessons, I'm a programmer, a software developer, and I make software. There is certain buzz in our industry in the last few years where we are giving up in creating the perfect software. But rather, we are adopting a mentality to expect unexpected things, expect failures, but prepare for them, prepare for recovery, prepare for such situations and try to handle them. How much more important this is in life. Now, this is all good, but to be honest, it wasn't very easy for me to find the central point for this lesson or the main goal. There are many interesting points, but what is the main goal? And it seems that it's to list different elements, designs, principles, phenomena, determining the rhythms of life. And so far we went through the original design, the cycles, diversity, unexpected changes. And now the authors are going into a couple more.
Close to the end, the lesson makes a good point that many times transitions in life lead to transformation. And it's a good example for Saul, who became Paul. Volunteer and willful decisions for the benefit of transition can transform the inmost thoughts and emotions in our hearts. Saul made a choice for Christ, and the Holy Spirit worked out a new character in Paul.
And this is an important point because we are not easy to change. We have habits and genetics that lead us to a certain path. Change is not easy. The lesson points at how many times we think that we can change certain things in our partners in the family, but it doesn't work very well. Change, however, is possible. And who better to help us in that than the one who created us?
Similar correlation exists between who are the people we choose to interact with and the seasons and cycles of life we happen to go through. So choosing wisely our friends or choosing wisely the surrounding environment of people around us will determine if their influence will be on us for good or for evil, and vice versa, what will be our influence on the people around us. Family, in that matter, is a given. There is no choice in parents or grandparents or choice in uncles, aunts, or cousins for that matter. However, family plays a tremendous role informing our life and worldviews.
Relationships and interactions is the last point of the lesson. We can't even come to existence without others. We depend on others. Others depend on us. Relationships are a driving force in our formation and existence. We started a new study on the cycles of life entitled Family Seasons. We looked at some rhythms of life. Join us next week for another lesson on the choices we make.